What does their childhood, background, education, and formation look like? How did this impact their commitment or practice of their faith? Rutilio Grande was born in 1928 in El Paschal, El Salvador. Rutilio Grande's early childhood deeply influenced his faith and commitment to social justice. Rutilio grew up in a poor Salvadoran family, which caused him to become deeply empathetic towards the marginalized. His education and formation emphasized the need for social justice and service to the oppressed and marginalized. His early education began in a minor seminary, after which he joined the Jesuits in 1945. He followed the Jesuit formation in various countries, including Venezuela, Ecuador, Spain, and Belgium. He later integrated social justice and pastoral work, fostering spiritual and social development among the campesinos. His commitment to serving the marginalized and advocating for social change led to his assassination in 1977, becoming a martyr. His faith was deeply influenced by his background, education, and Jesuit values. What issues did they work for, or what communities of people did they work with as a part of their call to discipleship? Rutilio Grande focused on working with rural communities, especially the poor. Father Grande had long organized base ecclesial communities that categorized poor, marginalized, and exploited populations in the Christian faith and encouraged them that working for human rights and dignity was an essential part of Christian discipleship. Grande's pastoral approach was shaped by a desire to bring social justice to these communities, and it was aligned with the principles of liberation theology. Liberation theology was developed by Latin American Roman Catholics that promotes liberation from social, political, and economic oppression. His longtime work with campesinos had been of the kind that inspired his Jesuit order's new expression of purpose in 1974, that the service of faith includes as an absolute requirement the promotion of justice. Grande's work with campesinos advocating for human rights and social justice, which ultimately led to his assassination. How do you see their faith in God moving them towards living a certain way in the world? I see Rutilio Grande's faith in God inspiring him to dedicate his life to advocating for justice, as well as uplifting the marginalized. Rooted in Rutilio's Jesuit vocation, he saw his faith as inseparable from the pursuit of social justice, organizing communities and empowering the poor to recognize their dignity as the children of God. His commitment to living the gospel ultimately led to his martyrdom, exemplifying how his belief in God's love and justice guided his actions in the world. Grande's priestly vocation was deeply influenced by these principles, leading him to combine his faith with active pastoral and social engagement. His commitment to the teachings of the gospel and injustice guided his ministry, making him a transformative figure for the marginalized communities he served. How would you describe this person as living the Paschal mystery? Where do they exercise compassion, solidarity, agape, hope, etc.? How do they make the kingdom of God visible? Rutilio Grande lived the Paschal mystery by embodying Christ's suffering, death, and resurrection in his support and work for the oppressed. He exhibited compassion by dedicating his life to serving marginalized communities, fostering hope in their personal dignity and rights as children of God. Grande's advocacy for justice and human rights made the kingdom of God visible in his community with the formation of local Christian communities within El Salvador. His faith, love, and justice continues to inspire transformational discipleship. In an article by American Magazine, during his active ministry of evangelization in El Salvador, he courageously stood with El Salvador's campesinos, teaching them how to become advocates for their own social and spiritual liberation. He suffered public persecution and was eventually assassinated alongside two campesino friends. His agape was evident in his pastoral work, which united faith with social justice. Grande's prophetic witness and ultimate martyrdom made the kingdom of God visible, inspiring others to follow the gospel's call for justice and love. How could we follow in their footsteps to also live the Paschal mystery? In order to follow the footsteps of Rutilio Grande, we should utilize his commitment to solidarity with the marginalized communities, advocate for justice, and foster a sense of compassion and love. His life teaches us to go against the injustices in society with faith and courage, engage in meaningful relationships with the poor, and prioritize the dignity of all people. Living the Paschal mystery involves reflecting God Christ's love through actions that seek liberation, reconciliation, and hope, embodying God's kingdom in the world. A quote from Catholic Outlook: his prophetic stance and his solidarity with the poor of his native country led directly to his death. This shows how Rutilio Grande's life reflected the Paschal mystery by embodying sacrificial love, solidarity, and a commitment to justice, while also inspiring others to follow his example. We can follow in the footsteps of Rutilio Grande by serving the poor and marginalized in meaningful ways. This could include volunteering our time to care for those in need, donating money to provide them with clothes and food, but most importantly, providing them with our love and compassion. By sharing our kindness and support, we can uphold the dignity of those who we serve and embody the values that Rutilio Grande stood for, which will make a significant impact in their lives as well as ours.